Hey everybody, Jason Burmis here. And the big question is, will there be a Bilderberg 2021? And the long of the short of it, and that doesn't make any sense, long and the short of it, is I have no clue, and I don't think at least an in-person meeting is going to happen. However, there's some other information via the Bilderberg group, via authoritarianism, via shadow deals done in the dark of night by unelected royal bloodlines who also happen to, have connections and be pedophiles decades ago trying to keep that cover of darkness. And basically, I was trying to do research to see, as things opened up, would the Bilderberg group put something up on their official website? And no, it's still saying the 2020 meeting is postponed here. So there's been absolutely no update. And traditionally, these meetings usually take place in May or June at a location disclosed most of the time last minute, within 1, 2, maybe 3 weeks tops of when the event comes off. Now, here's the thing. When I look at this, I think one, you could call them the oligarchy, because some of these people that we're going to be discussing actually do wear crowns and ridiculous outfits, and people act like they have no power when they have a whole lot of power. A whole lot of power. And I wish those people would really grow up and stop being children, because these people are so highly entrenched in aspects of the military-industrial complex, you simply can't imagine it. And that grand chessboard that is behind the scenes. And I liken this almost to the new Dark Ages, right? In the sense that when Bilderberg started, the big attraction was it was not covered by the media. Most people didn't know what it was. And it was informal meetings that allowed these people to, I believe, illegally collude with one another like gangsters. Okay? That's what the Bilderberg group is. It's a high-level gangster meeting, okay? Sometimes they don't send their top dog, right? But there's always representatives from all these different families, right? And I use that in quote because you do have actual royal families, right? You do have that. You have the Lockheed Martin scandal that took down Prince Bernard. We're really not going to focus on that too much. But one of the things that I found while I was looking into all this and trying to see if perhaps they were going to have a meeting, okay, is that Prince Philip and Lord Mountbatten, who we're going to show you in this, the FBI knew was into young boys. Loved it. Couldn't get enough of it. According to the FBI. Not Jason Burmis. Not some QAnon message board stuff. Okay? And he and Lord Mountbatten, Louis Mountbatten, okay, who was Charles's favorite uncle, by the way. And by the way, we'll get into some more lunacy about that. They had attended Bilderberg meetings, and sometime in the early 60s, basically put in the paperwork to try to create a similar organization within Europe, and within the UK, within Britain. And we're going to get into all that because it's very, very important. Now, here's the thing. Right now with these meetings, I would assume a lot of these people are meeting in person. It's not just Zoom calls because they know those aren't safe. But when they're in groups, I don't know that it would be the kind of meeting that you're seeing at Bilderberg Group where you have the 20 core members, right? And 100 others, et cetera, et cetera. People could think it's virtual, but how secure is that? Maybe these people have more secure, it's very, very, very possible when you get into the tech realm. and the realm of billions and trillions of dollars. But I think there's a lot more in-person meetings that the media is simply not having to cover because the general public has no knowledge of them. And the media didn't do a great job of covering these Bilderberg meetings until it was guys like myself and others, Alex Jones especially, Jim Tucker especially, David Icke especially, give people their due. People like even James Corbett especially, bringing factual information. Mark Dice, whole book on it, right? So bringing that to light, then the mainstream had to cover it, okay? So before we get any further in the video, I do want to remind everybody, number one, I am a documentary filmmaker. All my movies are free right here, right now. Let me say it again. Free right here, right now in the playlist section. I encourage you to watch them. Loose Change, Final Cut, and Fabled Enemies are so important. We're running on the 20th anniversary of 9/11 coming up. And if you don't understand what happened in 9/11, you probably have no idea how vicious, ruthless, and just almost unbelievable what these people have in store for us. And when I say these people or they, we name names. We show organizations. We show you the infrastructure of this predator class, especially in Invisible Empire, A New World Order Defined, where we have a whole section on the Bilderberg Group, and Shade the Motion Picture, which opens up with the Bilderberg Group. So if you haven't seen those, and you're skeptical of the power and the influence and the type of deals that are cut at the Bilderberg Group, that is the video to see. Thumbs this video up while we're still on YouTube. Fully demonetized, right? Obviously suppressed. Need the thumbs up. Share the videos. We are backed up on Odyssey. We're now supposedly 3 days away from losing one of those strikes. I'm skeptical, but we'll see. But that's why we need you to Rockfin. And Jeff Brady says, I think the BBs are meeting. That's the Bilderberg Group. I think they met last year. They are keeping it out of the public view because of what they are doing to us. Let me say this. I would agree in the sense that when you have the steering committee members, they're probably meeting a lot more, right? Because there's a little bit more freedom of movement. And then I would say the steering committee members are meeting with other people that would normally be at that meeting. And maybe some of these people, they can get done in a lower level capacity with virtual meetings, right? And coded talk. The kind of talk that's that new Faucian language everybody loves. So, let's get to the meat and potatoes of the story. Prince Philip tried to bypass Queen and run Commonwealth at top secret meeting. Now, I don't know whether or not he was actually trying to bypass the Queen. Okay? I think that might be spin on this. But he basically this article basically talks about how he and Mountbatten, okay, and I want to make this clear, a homosexual with a perversion for young boys, according to the FBI. Weird how that never got out. Weird how that guy's wearing all sorts of decorated military regalia. And this is what drives me nuts. I've been talking about things like this for years. And you talk about things like this, and some people dismiss it as what? QAnon nonsense. We're not going to go down that rabbit hole. But you see how that works now. This is a reality. Authoritarians doing their unelected authoritarian thing under the guise of royal bloodlines want more secrecy and more authoritarianism. The Duke of Edinburgh sadly passed away last Friday. This is about a month old, by the way. There was only like 2 articles on it. And again, I only found it because I was digging to see if I could find out whether the Bilderberg Group was happening this year. Okay? Prince Philip played a pivotal role in supporting Her Majesty the Queen for decades, while establishing himself as an iconic member of the monarchy in his own right. While he was often described as being in the Queen's chateau, Philip wasn't shy. in trying to make his own stamp? His own stamp on behalf of Britain on the world stage. This was seen when he launched a plan to establish for himself a fully independent role within the Commonwealth and potentially bypass his wife, who famously sees the Association of Nations as her life's work. I mean, I'm sorry I needed the jackassery. Wish I had some water in here. Horse throat. Oh, but here it is. As highlighted in the Journal of Imperial and Commonwealth History by Dr. Philip Murphy, the Duke of Edinburgh joined his uncle, Lord Louis Mountbatten. You know, this guy. the guy with the perversion for young boys. You know, that guy. Sure, great. Awesome. In his bid to start a Commonwealth Bilderberg Group. The Bilderberg Group is an annual conference established in 1954 to foster dialogue between Europe and North America. The group's agenda, originally to prevent another world war. Yeah, I'm sure that's their agenda. I mean, the spin on this is ridiculous, by the way. Is now defined as bolstering a consensus around the free market Western capitalism and its interests around the globe. You see, it was their coming out party like almost a decade ago. I'd say right like when I did Shade 2012, that's when the cat was out of the bag. That's when, people started paying attention with the Obama fiasco, when it was Obama versus Hillary. And obviously Bilderberg was heavily influential on who would run and win. Right? Joe Biden, another guy way before being, El Presidente or El Vice Presidente. Go to those. Meet with those people. Believe the hype. Let's see. Participants include political leaders, experts from industry, finance, academia, and the media. It has become well known for being a secretive affair and for being a subject of conspiracy theories. They tried to say the thing was like a golf club or didn't exist for decades. They love throwing out that CT. They love it. But between 1964 and 1966, Philip and his uncle wanted to create a new conference for the Commonwealth, modeling on the Bilderberg Group. Okay? In early April 65, both Mountbatten and Prince Philip attended the Bilderberg Conference held at the Hotel Via d'Estate near Como in Italy. 4 days later, a proposal was sent to then Minister Harold Wilson. Mountbatten moved quickly to try to obtain Mr. Wilson's approval for the proposals, but there was skepticism in Whitehall. Okay? So basically, they couldn't get it. They couldn't do it. But these guys wanted more authoritarianism. They wanted a Commonwealth Relations Office. So they loved it. And they love backdoor secret meetings. And once again, this is how sick it is. This guy's still being celebrated. Prince Philip is still being celebrated. None of these people, they used the Logan Act on Flynn, love him or hate him. And I've been calling for them to use the Logan Act on the treasonous bastards that were going to these meetings and conspiring against the Constitution of the United States and the Bill of Rights and ultimately free humanity. Okay? And it just so happens that these people that were never brought to justice, Mountbatten was blown up on a boat, apparently by the IRA. But unfortunately, like a boat boy or a house boy or two, I believe, was also on that boat with him. Did they deserve to die? Probably after being abused by this sicko for how long? Give me a break. And here's the deal. Take a look. This is the show, man. Kate and William, the good royals, they named their boy Louis after Mr. Mountbatten. And to this day, man, this is gonna hurt. I didn't really want to talk about this, but I kind of have to. Maria Farmer, who was on the show, she is not doing so well. And I just read a tweet that heart surgery just saved her life. And, this is the initial Epstein whistleblower. It's a beautiful human being. This is somebody, especially when faced with all this adversity, kept pushing forward and trying to get out as much work as possible, suffering from brain cancer. And the only reason I bring up Epstein is because you look at a guy like Prince Andrew and what he's obviously done to young girls, obviously. And people don't understand that he's fully protected because we don't have a justice system for everyone. They have a just us system for the predator class. And just like Mountbatten and all his badges, and Andrew's got similar, and he, again, the UK's arms dealer. So it kind of makes me sick. It makes me very, very ill that we no longer have that type of transparency. So here's the deal. I want to thank everybody that watched this. Thumbs it up, subscribe, share. Go check out the documentary films, especially. If you want to financially support me, at Jason Burmis. Down below, that's the Venmo. JasonIsVoid@yahoo.com. That's the PayPal. There's other links, but make at least the free Rockfin account. Come on over. Come on over to Rockfin. Mixed Martial Mindset today, I promise you, is going to be a spicy meatball. A spicy meatball that we're only going to be able to do a little bit on YouTube, but we're going to go full board on Rockfin. So you're going to want at least the free Rockfin account. And then if you want to fully support the program, you get a premium account. You get everybody's content. It's like a Netflix for creators. And it's basically a free speech zone for people like myself who are disgusted with authoritarian pedophiles that are beyond the law and very real, okay, that also have their boot on the neck of humanity and want to crush us. I love you guys. Thanks for joining me, and I'll see you on the flip side.